So this unit is around looking at data, and it's about finding averages from a large variety of data. So if you wanted to know whether a salary that you were being offered was a good amount of money, you might want to know how much other people are earning. And one thing that you could look at would be one of the averages of what people's salary is. Rather than having a look at everybody's individual salary, you want to know what's a typical salary, and that's where averages come into play. And there's three different types of average. The first one is the mean, and the mean is what you get if you share everybody's salary equally amongst everybody who's working. So you add together the total salaries, you get the sum of the values, and then you divide it by the number of people there are. The median is the middle salary, so you would put everybody in order of how much they earn, and the person who had the middle amount would be the median value. So that would tell you the median salary that people were earning. The mode is finding out what's the most common salary for people to earn. So how much money is the most common amount of money for anybody to earn. The range is not an average. It doesn't measure what's typical. It measures how spread out the salaries are. So it's the difference between the biggest salary and the smallest salary. So there's quite a lot of information there that you have to know for your GCSEs about different types of averages and the range. And one way of remembering it is the little song, Hey Diddle Diddle. I've got it written down here, and it goes, hey diddle diddle, the median's the middle, you add then divide for the mean, the mode is the one that you see the most, and the range is the difference between. So if you've got any difficulty remembering which one's which, that song can really help, and it's really useful to write that down as soon as you get into your GCSE, just so that you can remember and look back on it if a question comes up. So I'm going to give you a second now, just pause the video while you write down what's in the two red boxes, the definitions of each of those terms and the song. So if you pause the video now, and then we're going to go on to a couple of worked examples. Okay, so here's our worked example. It's asking me to find out all four of those different measures for this list of data. So we're going to start by doing the mean. So to find the mean, I'm going to need to do the sum of values divided by the number of values. So for my mean, I'm going to want to know what the sum of the values is. So 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 4 is 9, plus 2, 11, 14, 18, 23, 24, 28, 29. So the sum of the values is 29, divided by however many values there are. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 values. 29 divided by 10, which is going to give me a mean of 2.9. Okay, so if I shared them all out equally amongst each individual value, each value would be 2.9. My next one is the median. Remember, my median is my middle value when the data is placed in order. So I'm going to rewrite the data to find my median. So first thing I'm going to do, let me rewrite my data. So I've got 1, 1, and 1. So I've got 1, 1, and 1. I'm just going to put a little cross on them just so that I know that I've used them. I've got 1, 2. I've got a 3. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 4s. And I've got a 5. Good idea just to check that I've still got 10 items of data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've still got 10 items of data. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find the middle value. And the way that I do that is I'm going to cross off at either end. I'm going to count in from either side. So my 1 and my 5 get crossed off. Those are my top and my bottom. I'm going to cross off my new top and bottom. And I'm going to try and see where I meet. 1 and 4. 4 and 2. Now here, I've got 2 middle values. So here I've got an even number of data items. So I've got 10 data items. The median then is going to be halfway between those. So if I've got an even number of data items, I'm going to need to find the number halfway between those two numbers. Halfway between 3 and 4 is 3.5. One way of doing that is to just add up those two numbers and divide by 2, finding the mean of those two numbers. 3 plus 4 divided by 2 is 7 divided by 2, which would give me 3.5. So the median there is 3.5. The mode is just whichever value occurs most frequently. So the mode, I've got 1 occurs 3 times, 4 occurs 4 times, so the mode is 4. And the range is going to be the biggest number, take away the smallest number. The biggest number was 5, the smallest number was 1, 5 take away 1 gives me a range of 4. You're likely to see questions like this right at the beginning of the paper. These are really kind of level 1, level 2 questions, but it's just really important that we understand those 4 different measures before we move on to the more complex questions. Once you've written down that worked example, just pause the video to write it down, and then when you're ready, unpause and we'll start doing some questions. Okay, so just 2 questions for you. For both of the sets of data items, can you please find the mean, the median, the mode, and the range? Pause the video now while you write down the questions and have a go at answering them yourselves, and when you're ready, press unpause and we can go through the solutions. Okay, so here are the solutions for you. For the first question, when you added them together, you got 107. There are 9 data items, so 107 divided by 9 gave you 11.8 recurring. That would be likely to appear on a calculator paper. The number 10 appeared 3 times, so it appeared the most, so the mode is 10. You can have several modes if the same number appears the same number of times. So if 10 appeared 3 times and 11 appeared 3 times, the mode would be both 10 and 11, but here the mode is just 10. The middle number when they're in order is 12. And the range, the biggest take away the smallest, 15 take away 10 gave us 5. For the second question, add together your values, your number of goals, which gave you 18, divided by 6 is 3. So they'd have scored the same number of goals if they'd scored 3 per match. The mode is 2 because it occurs 2 times, nothing else occurs 2 times. The median, halfway between 2 and 3 goals, gives you 2.5. And the range, 6 goals take away no goals, was 6 goals. Give yourself a mark out of 8, please, 1 for each of those. And if you've got any difficulty on those topics, please take a look at Hegarty clips number 405 through to 410. Well done.